Hey, what's going on today, guys? Primal Sabbath here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Beast Machine's Night Scream. Going to start off the show characters reviews with the worst one, possibly imaginable. That's a tall order, and I don't say that because of like the engineering or the design or anything. May not even necessarily the size either. It's just over time, this figure does not stand up too well. Um, it's made with a lot of translucent plastic. So far, from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, I should say, the orange is not that great. At least like this orange. Now the wings may be the same kind of stuff or whatever, but it's just it's a mess. It crumbles. Like I had one that the hips for like the legs, not the arms but the legs, they had like they had broken off because it's just this bad little like kind of mushroom peg hinge, and it just cracks right off. This one I got fresh from a box, brand new. And I've got a rule, like if it breaks once, buy another one. If it breaks again, just try to fix it. So for the most part, I have sort of fixed it. I'm gonna go ahead and fold these wings up. I did just kind of want to have them out. This is how I assume that you were supposed to have them, but they do kind of sort of tab into these little pieces up here, and if you want to, I guess you could kind of stand him up and turn his little head down, do a bunch of stuff. Anyways, this is the one that it broke on. As you can see, this little hinge right here. Fortunately, I was able to drill a hole because the stem remained, and I took a flathead pin and I pushed it down in there. Just something I kind of had laying around from a custom. So the other one is bound to break, I feel, at any given moment. But you can see just on that rotation, it'll pop off on the inside of there. There's a screw. You just take that off and you pop the other side off. For the most part, easy peasy. But he's got a ridiculous bat mode. If you don't want those wings to kind of be attached, you can unpeg them. And if you want to, try to get some kind of standing thing going. That's up to you. I don't know. I just the way I kind of had him was the way that I recommend keeping him. But he's got a weird swinging mode we're not going to take a look at because he never used it and was a little too goofy. As far as, I guess, gimmicks, let's see. I don't really know of a proper way to pop this up. I don't know if there's like some kind of release mechanism for it, truth be told. I don't think there is. I think you just kind of... Anyways, that's supposed to pop up. It doesn't. Like I said, man, this thing's kind of sort of a mess. But let's see. Let's see if I can do this off camera. All right, so I had to get a little bit of leverage around it, and like these, the tips of these wings are hitting these lights up here, so it's hard for me to kind of get some stuff around. But anyways, you can rotate this, and it's supposed to catch these gears on this head, and as you turn it, his head spins. So cool, I guess. And then you can push this, and it's supposed to launch these little discs. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't, I guess. Who knows? So, oh well. It happens. I'm not super worried about it. It's just a gimmick. I could be doing it wrong. Who knows? Like, it's not something that... Oh, now it wants to... Maybe it's... You gotta push down, or you gotta make sure it's pulled all the way up, or push it down a little bit. I don't know. I can't tell. Alright, so that goes down into there. In the box, this was kind of folded over as like a spine piece or whatever, but I like to tuck it back to be kind of like a pseudo tail, if you can sort of see that. And it covers up what is the back of the robot head. And same thing under here. I do like to keep this folded down. And you can see his maximal spark crystal. Get some sculpted in hair details. And anyways, robot head right there. Definitely not going to transform this on camera, even though it is pretty easy. It's just one of those things, man. I really don't want to break the other hip piece. Because like once this thing gets into robot mode, he's staying in robot mode. And I will bring him back down for comparisons once we get around to doing those. But Yeah, if you want to, like I said, you can kind of play with these wings in whatever way, shape, form, or fashion you see fit. The feet, these are how they were in the box. Like, it's not really practical for standing on, but they're there. I guess you can fold these out if you want to. Maybe they will help you out to a degree in terms of getting them to stand. I'm not super duper sure, but it may kind of do something. I don't know. You saw, like, I kind of had him standing this way. That's about the best you're going to get out of it, truth be told. His jaw opens and closes, and he has little bitty white paint details there for, like, the front 2 teeth. So, anyways, that's pretty much him in bat mode. Let's go ahead and get him into robot mode, and we'll wrap this thing up. Neat and quick. There's not a whole lot to discuss about it. Not a whole lot to really say about it either. I mean, we'll get into it, I guess, all in robot mode, but yeah. Alright, so here's an ice cream in his robot mode, and this is just kind of how I put him in his robot mode. You can really do whatever you want to with these wings. I tend to just kind of leave them down and sort of swoop back, I guess. I've seen people bring them out to the side like this, and that's totally cool if you want to do that. Probably take some of that weight off the back here. I have also seen people essentially keep them in the bat mode configuration, which honestly I think that looks pretty good too, if I do say so myself. It's not at all show accurate. His wings end up shrunken down and, like, on his feet, but if you do it this way, it's giving him some mad back profile. So maybe just kind of lift him up a few more clicks, I guess. And then hopefully you don't have a shelf that's, like, too low or something like that. So there is that. Now, a few things as far as breakages and things like that are concerned. I have seen some breakages on these blue pieces at the hinge on the hands. Maybe that's where people think that there's a rotation joint. There is not. So he's just kind of stuck with these clawing at your hands. Nice sculpted detail, though, over the tops of these fingers, where these are smooth and you can kind of see some textured hair and fur. As far as these little pieces, you can bring them down if you wish. I don't know, like, it's kind of, if you kind of, like, keep some pressure on them and they bend back like that, maybe you can get them to, because they are a softer plastic. I think they look good kind of pressed up against them, but for the most part they're going to be jutting out a little bit, but there's really nothing you can do. This whole assembly does not lock in, so you kind of have to hang on to it if you want to rotate the head a little bit. Again, more translucent plastic. I don't think I've seen any of that blue, or at least any of those pieces break. This is still fairly good, especially like on my other one. Really, the only kind of issues I've experienced for myself is the connection on these orange pieces. So, something you got to look out for. I do like that these extend and collapse. I believe they're supposed to stay collapsed for robot mode, but you don't really get a whole lot of movement unless you start to move it out of that joint. And again, more translucent blue in there. So far, the heels are staying up. They're a pretty tight fit, like I said, for the time being. So that does definitely work in his favor. Now, they could probably just as easily give out over time, and then you'd kind of be stuck having to go back to this configuration, I guess, for the wings. So you'd basically have him sort of use those as just little back props on both sides. So like I said, you can kind of do whatever you want to do with it. That being said, I guess, let's talk about a few things. So this toy in particular was KO'd and downsized, and it goes for too much money. Now, granted, I want one because I think it would scale better. You can see he's already kind of starting to lean back. If he leans back a little bit, just kind of manipulate those feet and just let him lean on these little, I guess, bat pincers back there. So they KO'd it and downsized it. It's either a basic or a deluxe. Don't get me lying, because I don't know what it was. I don't recall any. Uh, oh, I don't recall any information about like those being very brittle in the clear plastic department. I don't know. I don't really know a whole lot of people that do have that have them. They don't pop up too often anymore. They haven't for a while at least. But if maybe that's something that's not within your territory of doing stuff, his McDonald's toy is not only accurate, it's also probably or show accurate rather. It's also probably size accurate. That's something that I feel if Hasbro or another company decides to come back to this design in the future, that maybe they could actually take some cues from the McDonald's toy. You'll see he says, "This is Chris." That's bricks on the dollar from Stasis Lock, because that's they shared a haircut for quite a time. But other than that, like if you're going for a show accurate display, um, then pick up the McDonald's toy. Like it's crazy that I have to even say that. This one, it just can't do a whole lot. I mean, granted, they both have the same goofy forward-facing hands, um, but the wings end up on the feet as they should, and it's not gonna cost you, 45 to $50 to replace it every time a small piece breaks, even breaking right out of the box. So that does kind of suck. Me, I'm a bit of a somewhat of a completionist, and I wanted this character represented in I guess, a more serious fashion, I should say, on my shelf. He is super out of scale with the rest of the cast because he is an ultra class. Um, I guess he would kind of be in scale if you got the Supreme Cheetor, the Air Attack Optimus Primal, and the Encore, I guess. And even I would say Mega Rat Trap probably scales well with him. But then you're left with a few characters out. So that's the deal with Beast Machines. And Beast Wars was not a line that was all about scale either. So that's just something we got to kind of take that good with that bad. But if you want something that scales with most of your other stuff, get the McDonald's toy. Like I said, it's even more show accurate. But um, there's ideas within it that I think could be implemented into an updated version of Night Scream. He wasn't the best character. He was kind of goofy, edgy, uh, emo teen 2000s character, but he was a show character nonetheless. So, and that's what I'm shooting for here. But anyways, other than that, I mean, that's really it for Night Scream. If you can, I would definitely try to recommend one that hasn't seen a whole lot of time outside of the box, or even outside of the box in general. Like that way, like if you get it, like you break it, you know what I mean? It's not that big of an issue. Well, assuming you know how to fix it. If you don't know how to fix it, then yeah, it is a big issue. But like it's really super unfortunate that that kind of stuff happens. I'm gonna keep my other one that is completely broken and unfixable, because I feel like maybe in the future I'm gonna need some parts from it. So yeah, who knows? But overall, like it's got good sculpt detail. It's got a neat enough transformation, albeit non-show accurate. But hey, it's Beast Machines. It's fine. Um, I just I wish maybe the clear plastic was a little bit better, and definitely I wish he was a smaller figure, but as is pretty cool. Like I really can't hate on it too much. The only thing is I'm just afraid to move and manipulate it because I don't want anything else to break. That's something you got to keep in mind. So it may not be for you. If you want the character represented and you want something that can handle just basic transformation, basic handling, just buy the McDonald's toy. Or hope that you can find the KO, and if you're willing to spend, $100 or more on the character, shoot for that. So, anyways, if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment box. I know this was probably not the greatest I could produce for this, but again, it's something I just don't want to break, and I don't want to break to where I can't fix it. So, anyways, I'll try to answer those questions, and thank you guys for watching. I got the rest of the Maximals coming up after this soon-ish, so it should be a blast. We'll be moving past Beast Machines and into some other stuff. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.